think that's the challenge, obviously, that everybody is facing now. How do we bring the channels together? How do we get data provided to our fraud solutions in a transparent way so that we are able to do that? But I think that is a very, very important part, obviously. How do you connect the different channels to have the data available to do the right fraud checks?
As the fraudsters become more sophisticated, happily, the fraud prevention providers are also keeping up pace. And the technology is developing really rapidly. And one of the big innovations that we're seeing now, and that's offered, for example, by the Red Shield guys, increasingly we're seeing sharing of data across merchants. We're seeing fraud prevention that looks across channels as well. So fundamentally, the richer the data set in a fraud prevention environment, the more effective the fraud prevention tool will be in actually spotting suspicious transactions and stopping them.
E-commerce card not present fraud is, it's expanding globally, and it's been driven that we see a number of factors. First one is migration to EMV in the United States. It's driving fraud to the most vulnerable channels, which is called, card not present. Another factor is, global e-commerce is continuing to grow and increasing, and it's expanding cross-border. So the fraud will become increasingly global and a cross-border problem as well.
Yeah, so fraud solutions are evolving across the whole omni-channel world at the moment by having to fraud screen at every point of payment, so be that in-store, card present, card not present, mobile, whatever. They've got to sit at every single point of payment to make sure that they can see a full picture of the customer.
And what we see is we can expect fraud tools will become more and more sophisticated in detecting omni-channel fraud, and card issuers merchant collaboration can play a very significant key role in it, using the Ethoca network in order to collaborate between those two sides of the network.
Payment systems are internationally, and so you see it from cross-border. There are also influences from all this market and all these regions, and at the end we have the situation that the data security and also fraud is a global issue, and so you have to address it on a global way.
Having a human touch on a fraud management tool is absolutely critical. You can have, there's a lot of buzzwords around machine learning that a lot of people are buying into, which is, some really good technology out there. But ultimately, a machine learning capability is only as good as the data that's been fed into it and continually being updated. And it still needs that human level of touch in order to predict things like flash sales. A machine learning tool is not going to be able to tell you that flash sale is going to happen. You need that level of human touch to say there's a flash sale going on and add that into the fraud management process.